Welcome back to the Rough Example Datsun 510 project. Sorry I haven't posted any updates. It's been a busy couple weeks, and my cameraman Joe has been out of the country. But he's back, and we're back in action. So as you can see, the engine's in. Pretty excited about that, obviously. We put that in there last weekend. It went right in. I've got some video that I'll include in the edit here for you. But we getting ready to put the motor in now. I've got it up on a couple of straps and got the clutch all installed in there. I guess we can get rid of that. So yeah, I'm just gonna see if we can slip it in there without having to take the hood off. It's a little bit tight. I put the transmission in from the bottom later. But you know, all things said and done, it went in pretty smoothly. We just lowered it into place, and there's a couple of bolts down there that you have to do. And surprisingly, that's kind of all that's holding it, aside from the transmission mount. The throttle bodies are angled way too high. Like there's just no way that that hood is going to close. So I'm going to have to work something out on that. You know, maybe if I loosen this up, I can kind of twist them down a little bit, or maybe I'll have to do like a pie cut on the actual metal and tilt the whole thing down. But yeah, so that is in there. The transmission was an absolute nightmare to rebuild, for no fault other than my own, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I think I put the thing back together and resealed it like 3 times, because I kept realizing that I had forgotten to put the shifter in, or forgot to put this or that, or you know, just all these order of operations type issues. So, oh man, I would not do that again. On the interior, I haven't really touched the wiring since last time, but I did get my seats. I'll show you those later. Okay, so I mentioned that I got some seats lined up, and here's what I went with. These are the Sparco GT seats. Let's see if I can pull this out really quick. Don't want to get them greasy. So yeah, oh yeah, that got a little messed up in the package there, but I was trying to find a seat that I could still tilt forward to get into the back of the car. And these were, I think they were like $450, just dirt cheap compared to a Recaro. So I thought I'd give them a try, and they seem pretty good for the money, especially. They're really lightweight. They have an adjustable bolster tensioner on the side here. Dual latches like on each side, and I ended up just buying some generic sliders for them, and they should be pretty easy to rig up. I think I just need to get some steel bars to go this direction, drill holes in them, and then they should mount right up to the Datsun brackets. But they're even cheaper if you don't get the houndstooth fabric. I think they're like $100 cheaper. So, man, I mean, I think it's a vintage looking seat. It's lightweight. It's nice for, you know, $300-400. So yeah, those are going to be going in. I will probably have to wait until I do the headliner and the carpet and all that before I get to do it, but I'm pretty excited. It's painful to have them just sitting in the garage. Do those later. And so I've just kind of been mocking things up with the factory seat brackets so that I can fabricate some new brackets for those. I've got a short shifter in here that came with the new transmission. I had to buy some parts for the transmission rebuild, and I just bought like a parts transmission and put it all together, and I had this short shifter. Um, I also have my micro squirt ECU in here. I haven't totally decided where I want to mount it yet. Um, Probably up in here somewhere. You also have the option to put it under the hood. Um, so I might do that, but I kind of like the idea of keeping it in the cabin away from the elements, and that way you have quick access to the computer COM port for doing the tuning. I've been running some speaker wire. I'm going to be running some speakers right here in this empty space. So I cut holes in the door cards or panels, whatever you want to call it. So they'll go right there. It's going to be a little tricky because you have to like slide the panel in from here with the roll cage, and then install the speaker from out here. But it's a super tight fit. I would have put them in already, but I think I need to cover these with some kind of upholstery first, like so like a vinyl cover that can go on here. I've never seen any for sale commercially, so I'll just have to make it myself. If you have a lead, leave it in the comments, but otherwise I'll just be making them. And I did get the seat belts installed in here. I think that the seat belts stock went exactly where I have run my airlines. So I hooked them onto the bolt that sandwiches into my air shock. I also got my gas tank situated. So previously, I had a huge externally mounted Aeromotive pump on here, and several people told me like, "Hey, that's going to be super loud." And just the time that I drove this around the block before I took the car apart, I could tell it was annoyingly loud. So I ended up kind of getting lucky. It turns out that this tank, this sending unit that's in here, was out of a 240SX slash R32 Skyline. It just happened to be in there and was unused. So I hadn't realized that wasn't a factory Datsun part. But I kind of figured that out because somebody had posted on Instagram a reel of like the exact same part. Um, and that's how I figured that out. So I ended up taking that out, putting a Walbro pump in there, and getting that all plumbed and everything. So I ran the wire out of the harness up here. It grounds to this terminal here. Like there's a stud on the back of that, and then this will just hook in over here. And I'm using these. I need to finish hooking that up, but anyway, so now I need to figure out an external filter for it and run some new lines and stuff. These are the speaker grills. Probably not going to be running these because I have this Techno Toy Tuning parcel shelf, and you can see in there, I've got cutouts for the 6x9s that were done by the previous owner. So I'm kind of locked in on doing something there. So I think what I'm going to do is drill kind of a grill pattern in here and then hide the 6x9s underneath. And that way it'll be kind of like a stealthy hidden look. Just having those underneath there so that they're not like screaming at you. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on the interior. I was doing a little test fitting on the carpet, just figuring out what gets covered up and what needs to be done. Um, so this morning, I also was working on the brakes, just kind of finishing up all of the loose ends on it. Um, since I am switching to a 280ZX setup, none of the stock lines really fit anymore. So what I've got going on here is I have a small line that comes down, and you can see this here. I welded this tab on, and that's where it converts into a hard line that runs underneath the car and ties into the stock lines. So I'd gotten this set up from that Dean Sherman guy that had sold me the parking brake and whatnot. So I don't know where you'd get them otherwise, but yeah, I just had to install that this morning and then bend some hard lines to run over to the factory soft lines. And I also put in the exhaust system this morning. My friend Dwayne, he goes by Green Goon. He is a longtime Datsun guy, and his son is a pretty good welder fabricator. So I had him build this muffler for me using I think it's a MagnaFlow, just generic, and then it's got 2¼ inch stainless tubing on it. And then Joe, if you go back there, you can see the exhaust tip has like a externally rolled lip on it. I was kind of going for like I think it's called Fujitsubo is the brand. That sort of look. And a lot of the older European cars also use that externally rolled style. So I really liked it. It was hard to find the part. I had to order that tip from England, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And one other issue I've run into is that I'm missing the striker plate that goes right here. I don't know what happened to mine. I've got the other side. I installed that this week so I can latch that door, but this one is missing. I don't know where to buy one. So if anybody has one, hit me up and I'd be happy to buy it from you. I also ordered the pinch weld seal that goes on here. It's pretty expensive if you buy it from like a Datsun specialist. So I just bought some generic stuff on Amazon and it looks like it's the right thing. So I think that should be great. You want to get the kind of deeper one. Like a lot of people sell kind of a shallow one that I don't think would go deep enough on here. I think you want 16 millimeter is the size. So I'm waiting on installing that because you have to do the headliner first. So this seal will kind of go in last. Same with these side windows. I've just been waiting on that because the headliner as well. So maybe I'll do the headliner pretty soon. It's just, it's a little intimidating, to be honest. Really easy to mess up. So got to kind of get myself amped up for that. Yeah, I've got these Watanabe reps that I've been playing around with for fitment. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the SSR wheels. I did find some new barrels that I can buy, but they're very expensive. I think it's like $450 plus shipping per barrel. So it's kind of running up against my budget on that. So I'm just kind of playing with these Watanabe style wheels and messing around to see how that looks. But here's my fuel filter I was talking about. So this came with the car. So basically, I just need to run a line in and a line out. It was running with this braided steel, like AN tubing, but the diameter is just a little bit too big. Um, Need to go down a size on that and just order new fittings for this. So let's see what else we got going on here. Here's the parts transmission. The last couple remaining things. I've got the fuel pressure regulator. A lot of people just mount this right on the firewall, but I think I'm going to try and figure out a way to mount this onto the fuel rail, or somehow on the engine itself, just to keep that firewall clean and not be popping a bunch of holes in it. And same with the coil. I might build some kind of a bracket so that it's self-contained. And the arches, I got this metallic paint that I'm going to be putting on them. I've been waiting to do it because the cottonwood trees in my neighborhood are dropping cotton, and I don't want it to get in the fresh paint. So just kind of holding off on that. There's my speakers, nothing too fancy. They're just Memphis that we got on Amazon. And then this here is going to be my, it's an amp, but the cool thing about this is that it operates through Bluetooth, so I don't have to have like a head unit in the car. I think they make this for like, you put it in your UTV or boat or whatever, and it does have like a little remote that you can mount on your dashboard, or just have running up between your seats or something. But they claim it's 500 watts, and it's pretty small. I mean, it's smaller than my hand. So I think for this car, it should do the job. I'm not trying to light up the whole neighborhood, but I like that it's small and compact, and I don't have to go cut out my old dashboard and put like a modern looking stereo in there. Here's the old transmission, just kind of chilling. Maybe I'll put that back together and try to have a spare. But for now, that's all I've got. I think next week I'm going to be diving into the wiring a little bit more and getting the fuel system all situated so that I can get closer to trying to start the car up. And maybe I'll be trying to get the wheels onto it. And ideally, it would be cool to put it on the ground and just see how it's going to look. I also have an air ride system. I traded a set of wheels for a new air manifold from Airlift that's a little bit higher end than what I'm currently going to be, what I planned on using. And it has like the digital management and the height sensors and everything. So that should be a big improvement as well. And just, make it a higher quality build. So that should be showing up any day now. And once I get that, I'll run the airlines and start setting up the air system. So thanks for watching, and thanks for sticking with me. Sorry about the break. Have a good weekend and get out there and work on your car.